All right. Collecting payments on student loans in default. You knew it had to happen eventually, right? This is happening now for the first time in more than 5 years. That's how long COVID gave relief here, calling former President Biden's policy, quote, irresponsible. The Education Department says that almost 43 million borrowers owe more than $1.6 trillion in student loans. More than 5 million haven't made a monthly payment in more than 360 days. Fox Business correspondent Grady Trimble reporting live from Capitol Hill. Hi, Grady.
Hey, Martha. And the Department of Education says only about 38% of student loan borrowers are current with their payments. So for those 5 million in default, what that means is that the Department of Education is going to start collecting again for the first time since March of 2020. Back then, it was in the throes of the pandemic when President Trump initiated a pause. Then President Biden extended it several times, and now the federal government will resume withholding money from tax refunds and other federal payments. Later this summer, the Education Department will send notices allowing it to take a portion of borrowers' paychecks. Education Secretary Linda McMahon says for those who aren't making payments, borrowing money for other purchases will become more difficult because their credit scores will be low. It'll make it hard to get a loan for a car or a house, for example. Meanwhile, in Congress, Republican lawmakers are trying to reshape the student loan system, releasing a plan that would place new caps on borrowing and require schools to pay if borrowers default on their loans.
Hi, Deacon Wilson here, West Angeles Education Enrichment Director. I thought I'd get back and talk about student loans, and that was just from the news today, because it had been reported so wrongly before. But finally, I think they got it right today. I listened to the other networks too, but this one was the best at giving the full picture. And that is, by the way, I'll provide a link to the video below in the description block. And perhaps I'll show a little more of it too in a minute. But I warned about this in 2019 and again in 2020. Students, listen to me. Pay your loans. I'm seeing a lot of very disturbing TikToks where young people are being profane and saying they don't owe, but they haven't made payments in years. Now's the time to pick the phone up and call the Department of Education. Not Department of Education. Call the FAFSA loan people. I'll put that phone number in the description block below. Call them up and set up arrangements. And that way you won't go into collections. But there's a lot of you that won't listen to me. I would say more than half my students are not paying on their loans. And the way I can tell is a lot of you put me as references on your loans, and I'm seeing you're not paying. Pay your loans. So I said, well, I can't, I'm not working. Well, usually you can negotiate a payment that will keep the interest low that's based on your income. Now, sure, you don't make a lot of progress on the loan, but it's a way of showing current. Get a hold of them, call that number. But I warned about this. I'm also very unhappy with two people, two entities. I'm unhappy with the Biden administration because they made you believe they could get loans forgiven and they lied to you. Now, I did videos about the lie and people commented they were upset with me for saying it was a lie, and it was a lie. In August 23, the Supreme Court struck it down and said the executive branch doesn't have the authority to relieve people of debt. Only the Senate can do that. The Senate has control to pay the loans off. Look, all loans are repaid. They don't just go away. They were trying to forgive those loans, and it was stopped by all levels of the court. It was done right before the 2022 midterms, and it was successful. Young people were excited that he was forgiving loans. Some people got their loans forgiven. Ironically, it was people who were like 7, 8 years and hadn't made a payment. Some people got forgiveness, but a whole slew did not qualify. And I told you, if you graduated the last few years, you don't qualify. Make your payments. But the Biden administration lied, and students believed it. Then once it was struck by the court, they said, we're going to go about it another way. Listen to me. And every rule they set to get around it was eventually declared illegal by the courts right before the inauguration of the current president. So I knew, eventually he's going to figure a way to go after the 5 million students that have not made a payment in over a year. I bet some of those payments haven't been made in 6 years. And look what's happened to these students in those 6 years. In 7 years, most of the loans double. So a lot of those loans, if you borrowed 22,000, you now owe 40,000 or 38,000. That's why I'm upset with the Biden administration. It was wrong for them to promise you that your loan would be forgiven. Now, see, the Republicans are running around. I shouldn't be negative like that. And they are forming a bill where the colleges need to take more responsibility for defaulted debt. Because a lot of times they didn't educate you on what about the loans. They didn't tell you what your loan counseling meant. And another thing, a lot of times parents assign students up for loans without them knowing it. But the schools are held accountable because of their accelerated costs. There's no reason why more students can't go to schools that have big endowments, loan free. We need more of that. I mean, I know some of these Ivy League schools claim they're loan free, but they are not loan free, not at all. It's only for certain students because what happens is they're not blind to what's on the FAFSA, so they only admit a certain number that are loan free. Okay, I don't want to get into all that, but I want to explain to you they're not going after everybody that has a student loan. I heard that ridiculousness too the other day. They're not doing that. Okay? They're going after students that are in default. And if you haven't made a payment in a year, you're sure enough in default. Make those payments. And if you're behind on your payments, even if you defaulted, call them up. The number is going to be in the description block below. Call them and make arrangements. There's like 6 different payment plans. I don't want to get into that right here, but there's no reason that any student who is hearing this and parents, I need you to forward this video everywhere to your student and everywhere. Other people seeing this, forward it out there. Put the link everywhere. Students, you don't need to have this. And don't believe the politics that it's the Republicans' fault. It's not. It's the Constitution's fault. Get mad at that. Can you imagine how much pandemonium we would have, for example, if Trump right now could forgive loans of people to the government or forgive loans of people who've taken out loans, or if the government could relieve their friends of loans they owe people? That's why it's in the Constitution. Appropriations have to be approved by Congress. And I have several videos about this out there where I talk about the Constitution. I show the Constitution, everything. Maybe what I'll do is put links to those below because I don't want to revisit that right now. But students who are in college, when you get out, pay your loans. I don't care if your parents did it for you. Pay your loans. Those already out of school, you have a job, pay your loans. Call the number below. Get a payment you can deal with and accept. But pay your loans. I don't want to see you get in default. Have them taking your tax return, your refund, and getting into your bank account and ruining your credit. A lot of you don't care about that because I guess maybe your parents are covering you. I don't know. But you should care about your credit record. All right, that's all I have now. Thanks much. I hope that helps. God bless you. If you think videos like this are important, good information, click like, and subscribe. Like will allow us to increase the spread of people seeing our videos, especially when you subscribe. And definitely do like so I can see what you think. And leave a comment below, would you, to let me know you heard this video. Or, of course, if you have any question as well, you can put it in the comment block below. God bless you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye now.